We've been following various stories throughout the day. Let's give you an update on how these stories have developed. Our reporters, Dasen Thathiah, Nqobile, Madlala and Aviwe Mtila, are on the ground with these important stories for us. And we'll start with Dasen. I'm going to start with you because former President Jacob Zuma's prosecution of journalist Karen Moore and Billy Downer has been postponed. Tell us more.
That's right, and just a short while ago, the former president was out here just across the road from the Pietermaritzburg High Court, and that's where he was addressing supporters, as has become the fashion now whenever the former president is in court. And today was no different. So he seized the opportunity to address those supporters, which I'll get to in a second. But importantly, in court, that was very administrative today. It was just because the parties had reached an agreement. I think it was common cause that the case was not going to proceed today. Mostly because there was an urgent application that was brought by Karen Moore. She wants this case scrapped completely. They call it a gross abuse of the court system, and as a result of that, they see no merit in this case at all. So it was agreed today, the court did rule that this case would come back in December for that to be addressed, and then back again here. If the criminal proceedings continue, that will only happen in February. But, coming back to the conversation that former President Jacob Zuma was having with his supporters out here, he used the opportunity to say that no one is above the law, and that includes journalists, it includes those that are within the court system. He also then entertained his supporters with a bit of song and dance, as he normally does, and he even stopped short of saying that he's available for any position that the ANC would have to offer him, and saying that he's available for anything. He also used the opportunity to talk about him now being a free man, and he says that he's able to do whatever it is that he wants to do, considering that his parole has now come to an end. But on the other side of that, the News 24, which has been backing Karen Moore, they say that this court case is purely just a spectacle, and that this has an impact on media freedom. Let's listen to what Adrian Basson, the editor-in-chief at News 24, had to say to us.
So just to be clear, we don't want the private prosecution to even start. We don't want it to run in February, to which it was adjourned to today. We will come back to this court on the 8th of December, to which our application has been postponed, to argue that this is an abuse of power, that Mr. Zuma wants to intimidate, harass and bully Karen Moore into silence. Not only her, but all journalists reporting on this and other critical corruption matters. Karen has been reporting on this case for over 20 years. She's very deeply involved and au fait with these matters in this case. We argue that he wants to silence her through bringing the spurious charges. Secondly, there's no nollie prosecute certificate for Karen Moore, so Mr. Zuma never went to the police like he did with Advocate Downer to open a criminal case actually against Karen to get the NPA to make a decision. So there can't be a private prosecution against her, we will argue. And thirdly, we believe that Mr. Zuma doesn't have standing because he couldn't prove that that article she wrote from court papers that he and his lawyers filed at court actually caused an injury to him.
Aviwe, Gauteng residents are being urged to use their water sparingly as level 2 restrictions continue. You've been catching up with those residents throughout the morning, and of course, it's nothing positive that they have to say.
Well, they say it's been a nightmare. A lot of communities around Johannesburg have had to deal, on top of having little to no electricity, also no water for weeks on end. In fact, now we're seeing the business impact of it. We're in Melville. I want to catch up with the manager of Spilt Milk, Blessings Period. Blessings, thank you for joining us at eNCA, but maybe quickly detail how long you've been without water and the impact it's had.
We've got something like 2 weeks we haven't had water. So like when it comes back, it just comes for like 20 minutes and then it goes away. As you can see, like right now we haven't had water the whole day. So it's killing the business because customers are turning back because you can't go into a restaurant that you know that they don't have water.
And if this is to continue, Blessings, how will it impact the business further?
Yeah, it's going to kill the business because we won't get any customers and everyone will have to sit home and wait for everything to be okay.
Just to get our viewers an insight, what runs on water? What do you need water for?
Like we need water for our machines, like especially the coffee machine over there. You can't operate without water. And in the kitchen you have to wash dishes and cook and do all the stuff. And in terms of the cleaning, cleaning stuff like the shop. We also need water there.
Okay, thank you very much. Blessings Piri is the manager of Spilt Milk Colleague, giving you the impact that these water shortages have, of course, on businesses. We've been roaming and crisscrossing the breadth and width of Johannesburg, speaking to communities such as Coronationville, where they haven't had water for at least 3 weeks, and a creche there is even thinking of closing shop, given that it can't take care of the 45 learners that go there on a daily basis, where the parents leave them there. They now have to send them back to their homes until this issue is resolved.